I'm Shannon.
And I'm Holly.
And this is a Girls Gone Curious podcast, where we talk about things that make us curious. So grab your favorite drink, sit back and relax because your show is loading. Today's episode includes strong language and topics of possible murder. This podcast is not suitable for children. Please listen with care. We apologize if we say any of the names or places wrong in today's case. This week's true crime category is unsolved, so let's get into it.
In 2008, a lot of things were happening. Britney Spears made her big comeback. The first movie in the Twilight Saga series came out. Heath Ledger passed away. And Obama was elected as the President of the United States. For Brandon Swanson, he would finish his first year of college in May, but would sadly never begin his second year. This is the strange disappearance of Brandon Swanson. Brandon Victor Swanson was born on January 30th, 1989, in Marshall, Minnesota. His parents were Brian and Annette Swanson. Brandon's father worked as a grain elevator, and his mother worked for the local school district. He was known for being smart, responsible, well-liked, and highly independent. Growing up with a younger sister, they were both raised with strong values and were a very tight-knit family. His family had very deep roots in the Marshall area. Some of the things Brandon liked were politics, history, debate, reading, music, and he was a fan of the Minnesota Twins, which is a baseball team. I do not do sports, so I don't know anything about anything. Only one I know is Dallas Cowboys. His mother said that he worked at a grocery store for 4 years. And it doesn't say exactly when he worked at this grocery store, or if he was still working there or not.
Okay.
Brandon graduated from Marshall High School in 2007. And began going to the Minnesota West Community and Technical College, studying in wind energy, mainly with wind turbines. He wanted to build a career in the renewable energy field. He would complete his first year of college in May of 2008. Brandon had brown hair, blue eyes, was 5'6", about 220 pounds, wore glasses, and had his ears pierced. He was also legally blind in one of his eyes due to optic nerve damage when he was younger, which try to keep in mind throughout this whole case a little bit is that he is legally blind in one eye.
Okay.
But that never affected him in any way. I also feel it is necessary to mention that almost everyone said Brandon wasn't a reckless person. Many friends said he was easygoing, dependable, and wasn't someone who would normally take risks. Brandon did still live at home while he attended college and would just commute to school, which was about 38 minutes away, around about 30 miles. It was pretty much a straight shot on Highway 68 from Marshall to Canby. The main college was in Fergus Falls, Minnesota, but the one Brandon attended was in Canby, Minnesota, which had the wind energy program. The one in Fergus Falls was about like 2.5 hours away from his home.
Okay.
Whereas Canby was only like 38 minutes.
Oh, okay.
The one in Canby is a satellite campus. May 13th, 2008, after his last class of the year, Brandon would celebrate with his old high school buddies and with some of his newfound college friends. He would go to at least 2 different parties, starting in Lind, which was only about a 10-minute drive from his home in Marshall. A little over 7 miles, depending on exactly where you're going. I did try to put in directions as best as I can.
Okay.
Because that's pretty important in this.
Yeah.
Leaving his house around 6 p.m. and arriving at this party sometime after that, which I'm assuming is like 6:15, 6:20-ish, something like that. His friends would say he was drinking, but not a lot and not enough to cause any visual impairments while driving. To his friends, he didn't even seem like he was tipsy. He was also known to not be a heavy drinker, but I mean, still, you shouldn't drink and drive.
Right.
But it is noticed that by pretty much everyone, he did not even seem tipsy or drunk. Leaving the first party sometime between 10 and 11 p.m., he headed towards Canby. This is where the second party would take place with his college friends. From Lind to Canby, it was about a 37-minute drive, around about 30 miles, which is pretty much the exact same from Marshall to Canby.
Okay.
Leaving Lind, all he would have to do is take a back road until he reached Highway 68. Then it's pretty much a straight shot to Canby. Whereas if you're in Marshall, you basically just get onto Highway 68 and go straight to Canby.
Okay.
This is a side note. Most of Minnesota's roads are numbers instead of road names. So you could have Road 3, but there would be 2 different roads called 3. One going north and south and the other going east and west. And I believe it is called the grid system.
That makes sense. It also seems kind of confusing, though, too.
Yeah. A lot of people said that growing up on the grid system, they love it. But someone who isn't on the grid system and then moves there, it's really hard to get used to.
Yeah, I bet.
Because imagine having a bunch of roads that are exactly the same.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, you're not good with directions, like I am.
Samesies.
I'd be on the wrong road for...
How close is it to the nearest coffee shop? That's what I want to know.
And a little reminder, this is 2008, so there is no, like, Google Maps. There's no, like, find my location. You can't just send a pin to your friend or family. This is, like, basically just the beginning of, like, tech kind of thing.
Yeah.
Assuming Brandon arrived at the second party sometime between 10:30 to 11:30 p.m. Remember, he left the first party sometime between 10 and 11 p.m.
Okay.
At this party, friends confirmed Brandon took at least 1 shot of alcohol. No one was really watching Brandon to see how much he really drank, if he even drank any more after that. I mean, it is a party. You're not really going to be...
Yeah, you're not really going to be focusing on what everybody else is drinking, necessarily.
Plus, this is a college party, too, so...
Yeah.
Now, depending on who you ask, Brandon left this last party at either around 12 a.m. or all the way to 1:30 a.m. Some claim to have seen him leave at 12 a.m., while others swore they didn't see him leave until 1:30 a.m. Again, this is a college party, so there's drinking, partying, so We do know for sure that the earliest time that he could have left the party wouldn't be until 12, and the latest time would be 1:30. Sometime around this, Brandon would leave and then begin his drive home. The first weird thing that we will come across in this case is that Brandon wouldn't take his normal way home. Instead of taking the straight shot home with a paved and somewhat lit path, he would take gravel back roads with pretty much no light to guide him. Now, Brandon has lived in Minnesota his whole life, so he probably knows the back way home, especially since he's been traveling to Canby pretty much every day for over a year for college. It is also possible that Brandon decided to not take the highway to avoid running into law enforcement. He did drink, and he was only 19 at the time. Brandon would be driving on one of these back roads when he would miss a turn or trying to turn around when his car would go into the ditch. It is later believed that this happened around 1:15 a.m. He would try to call a couple of friends, but when they didn't answer, he would make a call to his parents at 1:54 a.m. When they answer, he would explain that he crashed his car and needed them to come pick him up. Now, when I say crash, I don't really mean crash. It seems more like he kind of slowly went into the ditch and then in the process got his car stuck. So pretty much the underneath of his car in the middle was resting on something, and both the front and back tires weren't touching the ground. So the car was basically suspended in the air. He drove a green Chevy Lumina. Brandon would tell his parents that he was just off Highway 23, which was in between Lynn and Marshall. He claimed he was on the left side of the road in a ditch. After his parents get into their pickup truck, they begin the drive that's only about 10 minutes to Lynn. Brandon is talking to them the whole time, trying to describe and tell them where he is. Brian and Annette, his parents, would drive up and down the road that Brandon is claiming to be on. However, they are not spotting him anywhere. His parents would say that they don't believe that Brandon was intoxicated at all, and he sounded completely alert. Also saying that Brandon was certain that was where he was. No doubt or question about it. They would drive up and down this road repeatedly. Brandon still claimed he was just off Highway 23 on the left side of the road. Brian would later say, "We got in the pickup to go to the spot where he felt he was. He was absolutely positive he knew where he was." Eventually, at a certain point, both sides of the phone call would get frustrated, even begin arguing and raising each other's voices, asking things like, "Where are you? Are you sure you're on this road?" And he would respond with, "I'm right where I told you. I'm right off Highway 23. How can you not find me?" Brandon would get so frustrated that he would end up hanging up on his parents. At 2:17 a.m., his parents would call back and apologize for arguing. This is also a source that said he might have not hanged up and the call just dropped, but I believe that it was because they were arguing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just mentioning this because I found it.
Yeah.
Trying to think of anything to possibly find them, they would begin flashing their lights. On these back roads, there was pretty much no light, so you would assume that you would be able to see someone flashing their lights, even from a distance. I do want to mention this is in Minnesota, and like the back roads, they do not have any sort of street lights. Annette would later say that she even heard Brandon on the other end clicking his headlights off and on. But no matter what they did, they could not find Brandon or his car. Frustrated with the whole situation, Brandon would decide that he was just going to start walking to town. He had a friend that lived in Lind, so he would start walking to their house. In one source, it said that Brian would drop Annette off at home before he would continue looking for Brandon. And another source believes that she was still in the car, so I'm not too quite sure on that. Either way, Brandon tells them he believes he sees city lights in the distance and is going to start walking towards them. Together, they just agree to meet at a designated parking lot, the Lynn Wood Tavern, a local bar, or nightclub, whatever you want to call it. Whether the call dropped, one of them hanged up, or because they switched from his mom's phone to his dad's, Brian would call Brandon back at 2:23 a.m. This would be a 47-minute call. Mainly, Brandon was just describing where he was and what he was seeing as he was walking. Brandon would claim that he is coming up on a bend in the road. And instead of staying on the road, he wanted to cut through the fields to make a faster route. Believing he knew exactly where he was, and if he were to just cut through this section, the town would pretty much be on the other side. Brandon would tell his dad that he was coming up to a fence line and that he could hear running water. Brian would also later claim hearing the water as well. Shortly after saying that, at 3:10 a.m., after his parents have been looking for him for over an hour, Brandon yells, "Oh shit." They hear a crash or a commotion of some sort, and the other end goes silent. This would be the last thing that Brandon's parents would ever hear him say. At first, his parents believed he was still on the phone with him. For a good couple of minutes, they would ask him if he was there and if he was okay, repeatedly saying hello. I don't know if they were actually still on the phone with him or if it ended without them knowing. Either way, they would call him back after the call ended, calling him multiple times over and over again. But there was no answer. I also don't know if his phone was still on and ringing or if it went straight to voicemail. I believe that it was still ringing when they called, but I'm not positive about that. Brian said, "We called at least 5 or 6 more times. He never picked up the phone again." Another side note, his phone was a black Motorola SLVR. They were first made in 2005, and it was known for its thin and compact design. It's unclear if it was easily breakable or not. Probably more breakable than the phones nowadays, or less breakable than the phones nowadays.
Yeah, for sure.
You fucking tap your iPhone and it fucking
shatters.
Brian would drive to the meetup spot at the Lynn nightclub that they both agreed to meet at. Time would pass, but Brandon would never show up. I can only imagine what is going through their heads right now. Sitting in a parking lot, praying that he will show up. But as the minutes pass and the clock ticks, the anxiety and worry just worsens. Calling up Brandon's friends, his parents ask for the help looking for him. So many friends and family members get into their cars and travel up and down the road near Highway 23, where Brandon claimed to be. At 6:30 a.m., Annette called the police to officially report Brandon missing. But get this, they would tell her that he had a right to be missing.
Yeah, that is true. He is an adult, but I'm pretty sure the parents know their kid.
Yeah.
And they were literally on the phone with him.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Brandon was just a college student, and police believe he was just blowing off steam and would come back when he's ready to. School just ended, so he must have just crashed at a friend's house after drinking.
Even though all said friends were out looking for him.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that isn't the case at all. Brandon was trying to get home when he went missing. He was on the phone with his parents, asking for them to pick him up. He wasn't just blowing off steam or sleeping at a friend's house. He was actively trying to get home. Annette would later say in an interview, he was just trying to get home. He was doing what he was supposed to do. He called for help, and that's what haunts us. Brandon's parents didn't believe he was intoxicated at all, at least not enough to cause or be in danger. Police would also later come out and say they don't believe that he was impaired, but they never released the reason why they believe that. After the first initial call, no search is done immediately. Instead, Annette would call and convince the sheriff's office to help in the search. And I believe this is a couple hours after her first call, but I'm not too positive on that. When action finally begins to take place, they get a hold of Brandon's phone records. But unfortunately, there was a hold on that as well. When they first tried to get a hold of his records, the phone company was closed, and they had to wait until the business opened. So yet again, more crucial time passed. Not like the first 48 to 72 hours are
Right.
the most crucial time.
Right. It's fine. It's not fine. It's not fine at all.
Now, this is where the case gets weird yet again. I mean, this whole case can just be stamped as fucking weird.
Right.
And bullshit.
Right.
Brandon was confident, without a doubt, that he knew where he was. However, his phone would last ping at a tower near Taunton, Minnesota. This was over 20 miles from Lind, and at least 25-minute drive. Brandon wasn't just off Highway 23, but actually near Highway 68, the highway that is a straight shot from Canby to Marshall. He wasn't on Highway 68. He was on a back road near Highway 68.
Okay.
And this is just where his phone last pinged.
Okay.
Searching the new area, they would find Brandon's car at about 12:40 p.m. on May 14th. His car was in a ditch on a remote gravel road near Taunton. about 1 mile north of the 68 highway on the Lincoln County and Lyon County line. This road extended for about a mile, and it's just farmland on both sides. No lights, no nothing. There is no damage to his car, and it worked perfectly fine. It was just stuck. Weirdly, the car was unlocked, keys were missing, and 2 of his doors, including the driver's door, were opened. If that doesn't scream weird.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I get the keys missing, but leaving it unlocked and doors open?
Yeah, it kind of makes me wonder if, so maybe he took the keys with him, he closed all the doors, took the keys with him, obviously, but like forgot to lock it or whatever because he was trying to get the hell out of there. And then some
Someone
people
else,
drove by
yeah.
and was like, let's see what's going on, open the doors, and then just took off.
Could be. We will never know.
Right.
Police believe that Brandon crashed his car sometime around 1:15 a.m. I don't know how exactly they calculated this out, but if that is true, what was he doing for 39 minutes? Calling his friends the whole time before calling his parents? Maybe trying to get himself unstuck? We truly don't know, other than that he did try to call his friends. Another question is, how did he end up in the ditch in the first place? It appears like he was either trying to turn around, or he was turning onto a road he thought was there, but wasn't. But honestly, we don't know the truth.
Mm-hmm.
A new search would begin around the area where his car was found. But unfortunately, there wasn't really anything else to go off. It was a gravel road, so there could have been tracks, but that morning, the road was freshly graded. So if there were any tracks, they were gone. Nothing else was found suspicious in or around his car. A news source did come out later saying that there was a pipe found in his car, but it's unclear what type of pipe. We don't know if it was like a pipe wrench, iron pipe, or, a smoking pipe.
Right.
And when that came out, a lot of people took that information and ran with it.
Mm-hmm. I bet, yeah.
Law enforcement would bring in dogs to try and track his scent. Some dogs wouldn't smell anything, while other dogs did. They also had to switch out the item of Brandon's before the dogs were able to catch a scent. So I'm assuming maybe the first thing they used didn't have a strong enough scent or something.
Okay, yeah.
But it didn't say what items were used.
Mm-hmm.
Just something of Brandon's.
Mm-hmm.
From Brandon's car, one of the dogs would lead south for about half a mile, then turn west by 390th Street, going about a mile before turning north on County Road 16 for about half a mile. Then turn west onto a driveway of deserted farm and continuing on it for a quarter of a mile, leaving the abandoned driveway and farm. They then followed the Yellow Medicine River going northwest. At one point, the dogs went into the river, but came out on the other side. Like Brandon maybe fell into the river, but then got back out. Going further north, the scent ended at another gravel road linking Lincoln and the Yellow Medicine counties. From what Brian said, Brandon told him and heard, it lines up with the phone call. At the time of his disappearance, the Yellow Medicine River could get up to 15 feet deep in some parts. But it is unclear how deep the river was at the time if he did fall into the river. Some sources said that it wasn't that deep where he would have fallen in, while others say the opposite. That the river was actually high and had really strong currents. Jeff Hayes would at some point take over the search for Brandon. He was part of the search, rescue, and recovery resources of Minnesota, helping lead Brandon's search with other volunteers and anthropologists. There would be searches on ground, air, and water. With ATVs, horseback, airplanes, helicopters, sonar, and divers. And the sonar is basically just like a thing where you go around the water and you have a machine that kind of detects any sort of abnormal thing in the water. Hayes would search for Brandon every day for the next 30 days, searching for at least 6 hours each day. They would find nothing. The area was hard to search. There was tall grass, uneven ditches, waterways, open fields, steep ditches, culverts hidden by grass, and riverbanks, while also being surrounded with open fields of farm. Some farm owners would allow them to search their property, while others would refuse to allow them to. And with no physical evidence, law enforcement couldn't really do anything about it. At some point, Hayes would decide to bring in cadaver dogs in hopes of finding anything. A lot of the time, dogs would pick up scents just to lose it shortly after. In this area, the wind and weather was unpredictable. With the wind blowing in every direction, it was hard to catch a scent, and if they did, it could actually be from somewhere else entirely. Hayes would also get a group together to profile Brandon. They would use math and his personality to determine where and how far he could get. They would use math to calculate just how fast Brandon could possibly walk or run. Then use his personality to try to determine what he would do if he came across a certain situation. Using this, it would help narrow some of the area down. But this still didn't move Brandon's case any further. Which, how the fuck do you do that?
Yeah.
How the fuck do you do
Where's our math guys?
Yeah. How the fuck do you do that?
Yeah.
You probably say shit that I can't even understand.
Right.
You take this, and...
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. I'm gonna go drink some coffee.
Yeah. However, the cadaver dog did pick up a scent multiple times that all led to Mud Creek. Mud Creek is a tributary of the Yellow Medicine River and is northwest of Porter, Minnesota. Porter is about 5 miles from Taunton and is between Canby and Taunton. The dogs would consistently hit on human remains at Mud Creek. The problem being, it was marshland. Despite them searching, they were never able to find any remains. The dogs are unable to pinpoint where the remains are because of the type of area it is. On top of that, they are only able to search it at certain times due to weather and water level. The last known search happened in 2011. There is a website called thesearchforbrandon.blogspot.com that has all of the journal entries of the searches done for Brandon. The two most recent being in November 2010 and May 2011. November 12th through the 14th, 2010, they planned and executed damming out Mud Creek for a short distance to allow dogs to search. The water level was higher than expected, and it took about 2,200 sandbags. The water was also pumped around the dam to control the water level. Dogs were able to get in there and search, but yet again, they weren't able to pinpoint the area. There was still too much water. They planned to do it again in late summer. May 12th through the 15th, 2011, they did another search, but it rained the previous weeks, causing the water to be too high.
So if it rained, why not postpone it a little bit?
They claimed to have made a little progress, but not what they hoped for. In 2010, the lead agency of Brandon's case, Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, set up a tip line dedicated only to Brandon's case. This tip line is 877-996-6222. By 2011, about 122 square miles had been searched systematically, and no trace of Brandon was found. By 2015, 90 leads had been reported, but none led anywhere that we know of. Also on the website I mentioned earlier, they have the reason why they haven't searched some properties. It is due to owners not agreeing to let them search their properties, and also because they don't know all of the true owners of the farms to ask them. The plat book may not show who is actually running the place or who controls the land. They said they also want to avoid disturbing landowners' life as little as possible, which frustrates me.
Yeah.
If you do know anything about this case, you can contact the number I said earlier, 877-966-6222. There are also numbers you can call on the website, thesearchforbrandon.blogspot.com. Brandon's law was enacted in 2009. This requires law enforcement to take missing persons reports without delay after notification of someone missing under dangerous circumstances, no matter the missing person's age. They need to immediately conduct an investigation to determine if the person is missing and whether that person is in danger or not. They also must promptly notify all other law enforcement agencies of this situation. And it does clarify that the lead agency would be the one receiving the report. Brandon was last seen wearing baggy blue jeans, blue striped polo shirt with a white tee underneath, a black hooded zip-up sweatshirt, a white Minnesota Twins baseball hat, white sneakers, a silver chain, one stud earring in his ear, and black wired framed glasses. He also does have a small scar above his left eye. He was carrying his Motorola phone, wallet, ID, and house or car keys. Brandon was declared legally dead in 2017. However, his parents and friends are still looking for him. His parents keep the porch light on every night in hopes it will help him find his way home. Annette, Brandon's mom, said, "You know, people don't just vanish into thin air, but it sure seems like he did." Ready for the 100 mentionings, theories, and questions?
Absolutely.
Starting off with mentionings, Brandon's case remains open. And as the time passes, fields and roads may change, and this could cause possible evidence to be gone. The FBI listed his case under VICAP, which is violent crimes, which is very weird.
Mm-hmm.
I find that very weird.
Yeah. Like, does everybody know something that they can't release? Or is it because there's like hints of it here and there, like they were closer to something, but not where they want to be.
Yeah.
And then like, this, where the FBI is putting him under VICAP, where he just vanished, obviously something happened to him, but it's just interesting.
And disappearances don't end up under violent crimes.
Yeah.
There was no blood, no phone, no wallet, no clothes, no ID, nothing was found. The only thing they found was Brandon's car. Brandon was explaining on the phone that he believed he saw city lights. A Lyon County sheriff noticed that from the general area where the car was found, the only light he saw was a red one. The red beacon atop a grain elevator in Taunton. He said he didn't see anything that pointed to bright city lights, which is weird.
Mm-hmm.
One source said that it was possible that one dog detected Brandon's scent at a certain farm and a possible scent on a machine equipment, but that farmer refused to allow them to investigate. And there isn't enough physical evidence to search the property. I don't know how true this source is.
Interesting.
Yeah. I only found this on pretty much one source, so I'm not positive about it, but I do want to mention it.
Yeah.
When Brandon crashed his car, some people might think that he didn't think, why didn't he just call the police? But we gotta think he was 19 years old and possibly intoxicated.
Mm-hmm.
And he most likely took the back roads to avoid law enforcement in the first place. Also, it's not like he wrecked his car. He really just needed to be pulled out of the ditch. If I was in a situation, I would most likely also just call my parents, not the police.
Right, same.
It's like, it's not like an emergency.
Yeah.
You got stuck.
Yeah. I mean, like, if my parents didn't answer, I would probably then call, but I would literally call everybody else before calling the police.
The area where he went missing was rural, unfamiliar terrain. Thinking he was somewhere else completely, he could have been seeing things that weren't actually there. On top of deciding to walk through the field instead of the roads, which I think is a bad call.
Yeah. Especially you don't know the area.
But he thought he knew exactly
true.
where he was.
True.
I also have to keep telling myself that he was blind out of one eye.
Mm-hmm.
So the darkness on top of that could have caused fatigue and confusion.
Something else, too, when you said that about him being blind in one eye, where the officers said that they only saw, like, the one red light, maybe it was messing with them. So you have confusion, fatigue, alcohol on top of that, and maybe it was kind of blurry, so he thought he saw multiple. Possibility.
But, like, to me, when you think of city lights, I don't think red.
No, I think of white or yellow lots.
Like, multiple.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now to jump into the 10 million theories that could just continue. So I put down the ones that pretty much I found, and then we can always talk about if we think of any other ones.
Okay.
So, ran away, faked his disappearance to start a new life. I don't believe it.
I don't believe that. Why would he call his parents?
Yeah.
I don't believe that one.
Kidnapped. Someone followed him and took the opportunity to do something to him.
I'm thinking one of the farmers.
Hit by a car. After hitting him, they took him and disposed of his body elsewhere. Foul play. Like the kidnapped one, someone took the opportunity to kill Brandon after seeing him wandering alone. Fell into the water and drowned, which a lot of people believe he did. My only problem is he could have fell into the river, got out, because it shows that he got out, and then was wandering and died of hypothermia.
Yeah. And that's what I was actually that one actually makes sense to me because he literally, the dogs picked up a scent to the river, went into the river, and then on the other side, they picked up a scent, and then they lost it. So they
followed it all the way to another road, and then they lost it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, where's the body?
Yeah. And the Mud Creek?
Yeah.
Yeah. And if that's where they... Yeah, that's what's making me think something like along those lines.
Of course, you have the alien theory. He got, it's a popular Reddit one. He got abducted by aliens or something supernatural happened to him. And if you believe in all that stuff, it is possible. Another theory is drugs. May have taken a drug at one of the parties or been drugged at the party, was confused or had a bad reaction, fell into the river, and either drowned or gotten out and died of hypothermia. But on the phone, he seemed pretty lucid to his parents.
Yeah.
But, you could fake it.
Right.
There's so many. Next one is trespassed onto private land. Owner shot him and got rid of the body. But there was no gunshot heard on the phone, so makes the theory of the person could have just attacked him or something.
Yeah.
People do talk about some people who own land out there that will shoot at first sight.
Right. Like maybe he didn't get shot, but maybe one of the farmers did something. Especially where his scent was picked up, but it could also be, like they were saying, because of the wind was traveling the day that the dogs were going through there. Did the wind pick up? There's all kinds of...
Next one is that there was a rumor that Brandon owed some people money. That he got into some trouble with people he shouldn't have been in trouble with. They could have followed and waited for him for a moment to attack and or kill him. Another theory is attacked by an animal, but there's no blood or remains.
Yeah, I think if he would have, I don't think people would have followed him that far. And like he would have heard people walking through fields and... I believe anyways. Yeah. Next
theory is he said, oh shit, because his phone was about to die, tripped over something, fell into the river, or something else happened. And, either drowned or died of hypothermia.
Yeah.
One of the most popular theories is that he went onto someone's land and fell into a well or trap. The owner either covered it up or didn't even know about it. The only problem with this theory is police looked at land records and there was no known well or anything. But that can mean jack shit.
Right.
Because if you don't even know the person who owns the land.
Yeah.
Next theory. So many goddamn theories. After falling into the river, Brandon could have gone onto a farm or land that had an old building or machines, got under one of those machines, and when the owner started up the machine, they killed Brandon. Or that he was lying in a field, or his body was in a field, and the owner ran them over with the machine there. Then the owner covered it up, and could be one of them that won't allow them to check their property.
See, I would actually agree with that one, except Mud River and the strong scent that the dogs are picking up there. Like, yeah. I have a question, but I'll wait.
We're almost to the questions. Next theory. Brandon could have seen or stumbled upon something he wasn't supposed to see or know about. While running, he could have been attacked. Could have been drug-related, murder, or some sort of crime. Or if a farmer was growing something he wasn't supposed to be growing. This was 2008 and marijuana wasn't legal yet. And the last theory that I have written down is that there's a rumor that law enforcement were involved, that they scheduled the road to be graded that morning.
That's interesting to me because I did find that odd, but then we know people that live on a dirt road and there is a schedule that they come and grade the roads. Yeah. So it's possible. I mean, I would definitely think that if it was like, it's supposed to be graded every Wednesday and they, for some reason, did it on a Friday.
Yeah.
Also, like they did it Wednesday and then they came back and did it Friday. That would be interesting, but then the dogs would still pick up the scent. Hopefully.
The other part about the road being graded, if they would have started searching right in the beginning,
yeah,
would they have had a better chance of finding him?
Ah, that's a good point. Absolutely.
I feel like that's a possibility.
So when they started searching for him, was it that day or was it a couple days later?
It was that day pretty much. So he later had the parties on May 13th. And then when he called his parents, it was May 14th at like the 1 o'clock in the morning.
Right. Okay.
So then that day they found the car at like, I think 12:40.
Okay. So then, yeah, and if the road was graded, I can definitely see where that would be a theory for sure. If it was graded and it wasn't supposed to be.
Yeah, so. And I don't know that.
Right. Interesting.
So let's get into our questions and thought. My first one is, why was the car unlocked and doors open? But you mentioned earlier that someone could have came and rummaged through the car. Yeah,
like they could have been checking to see, oh shit, is there somebody in there? Or they could have been like, oh shit, is there something I can take? Like that kind of thing.
Next thing, did they search the car for DNA?
That was my question. That was one of my questions is fingerprints, DNA. Did they search any part of it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Honestly.
The other thing is, what lights was he seeing? Was it lights from a farm possibility?
Yeah, so like so since it was so dark out where he was there like a bunch of farm equipment running? Like if it's hay or depending on what type of crop it is, not a lot, but some of the stuff like baling hay and stuff is done at night. So did he see like lights from the machines going?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It doesn't make sense that the officers just saw one red light.
Yeah.
Or the detective saw one red light. And he's telling his parents that there's city lights.
City lights.
Yeah.
So that brings the question, was he actually heavily intoxicated?
Right.
Was he possibly on drugs or was drugged? But at the same time, I feel like he wasn't, he had alcohol in his system, but I don't feel like he was over like the legal limit necessarily.
And I don't think he was drugged, because if he was literally carrying on a conversation with his parents.
Yeah. and he's explaining exactly where he is,
Mhm.
what he sees,
Yeah.
what he's doing.
Yeah.
And if he was actually like drunk or
Mhm.
high or something,
Yeah.
I feel like he would crash his car, not just
Right. Yeah.
like gently go into the ditch.
Stuck in the ditch.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's something. Was he expecting there to be a turn there? And like, how
Yeah.
did he get stuck in the ditch? Like, was
Yeah.
he like, oh shit, I missed my turn and started to
Yeah.
turn? Or,
If he thought he was in a completely different area, he
Mhm.
could have thought that the right turn was right there and
Yeah.
it wasn't.
yeah.
That kind of brings into the next question. How can someone who lived their whole life in this area get so lost and not even know that he was lost?
Yeah. He was by his parents.
He was 100% sure
Yeah.
he knew where he was.
Yeah.
And then that brings in the next question. He must have been driving for a little bit to think that he was in Lind.
Yeah.
Taking Highway 68 from Canby to Taunton is only 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Whereas Canby to Lind is almost 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So he had to be driving or something for a while. Was he
Yeah.
just driving in a circle?
Yeah.
Or it confuses me.
Yeah.
And also that's on the highway. I don't know how long it takes to get from Canby to Lind
Oh.
doing the back way.
Yeah.
It for sure takes longer, but I don't know
Mhm.
how much longer.
Yeah. Because you have all the side roads and you have the gravel roads compared to paved and
Yeah.
all of that to consider.
No lights at all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even on the like on a regular highway, there's not necessarily lights all the time either.
Yeah.
But there is other cars driving
Mhm.
usually
Yeah.
with you. Yeah, I don't know.
Hmm.
Did Brandon have a underlying mental illness?
Oh.
And that could have caused confusion?
Yeah.
It's just a question to
Yeah.
ask.
Mm-hmm.
And the most unsettling part for me is that he disappeared while on the phone with his parents.
Yeah.
He was truly just trying to get home, and
Yeah.
he vanished.
That's why I don't believe the theory, or I don't believe what the officers were saying at first, that he was just trying to blow off steam, or
Yeah.
because he was literally on the phone with his parents, and yes, they hung up with each other, but they called back.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't believe that was the case at all.
And he was like actively like, "Come pick me up. I want to come
Mhm.
home.
Yeah.
Ready to be home."
Yeah. If you're not trying to go home, you're not gonna be on the phone with your
Yeah.
parents for over 40 minutes explaining where you're at.
Yeah.
Just the way my mind works. But after listening to the story more, I put mafia ties.
Yeah.
But
Possible.
I just after that I was like, I don't think so. But
I mean, it's always a possibility.
right, true. So it's the party's in 2008, you said?
Yes.
So somebody had to have a camera of some sort.
Yeah.
Where are those pictures?
Yeah.
Like, I know even back in when I was in high school, college, whatever, high school, at parties that we went to, there were still cameras. Obviously not as readily available as our phones now, but there
Yeah.
was still like the Canons and all that. So if anyone took pictures, where are they? What did the pictures show? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Was anybody with him? I'm assuming he would have told his parents, but why was
Yeah.
he going that direction? Why was he giving someone a ride home? Did he see somebody walking and was like going to give him a ride? But I think he would have told his parents.
Yeah.
Because he was very adamant about where he was at.
Mm-hmm.
It just...
Yeah, my only assumption is that he just took that way to avoid law enforcement.
Which makes sense, because...
You're 19.
Yeah.
You had
and
alcohol.
Drinking, and you're going to do that. Jump in a bush or, something like that. You're going to... Anyways. And I was also wondering, like, when they found his car with the lights on, but he might have turned the lights off because of, if
Battery
you shut the
saving,
doors
yeah.
and
But
shut the
if
lights
the
off.
doors were open, that means that the light was probably on.
Yeah. So battery could have died or something like that.
But
with the
when
doors
they
being open.
when they said they found the car, it worked completely fine.
Oh, okay.
It turned on and everything. So I don't know.
Yeah. I did have the question, what is the water source? Because on the phone, he's talking to his parents, and then you can hear hear water running. But then you said about the Yellow Medicine River and Mud Creek and everything. So why the hell hasn't there been another search since 2011?
Yeah, I don't know.
And you would think enough time has passed that they can
do a better search.
Yeah. And they can kind of know. I know weather is unpredictable for the most part, but I would think that they could have done a better job of it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Did police check all phone records of Brandon's?
Yeah, I don't know. This was in 2008, so they couldn't get as much detail on phone records as you can now.
Yeah, true. My last couple of questions we already hit on, which was fingerprints and DNA, that kind of thing.
Yeah. The first picture at the bottom it shows party location, home, where his car was found, where the yellow Medicine River is, and the big yellow circle is the search area that they searched for him.
Why only that area? Is that because that's where the dogs lost scent, or that's just what they figured should be the parameters of their search?
That's what it says search area approved, so maybe that was the only area they were approved to search for him. I'm not quite sure. And then the next picture is basically mapped out his walking path from where his car was found to where the scent was lost. And I tried looking up on a map where Mud Creek is.
Yeah, I'm
but
not seeing it.
I can't find it. I'm assuming it's not mapped on Google Maps. Because when I searched up Mud Creek, Minnesota, it brought me to the other side of the state. So I was okay. Yeah, I can't find it. And it could be just something that the locals call it and not an actual name for it. Was that all your questions?
Yeah, that was all my questions, yeah.
What do you feel really happened to him?
I think he fell in and was able to get out, and either he was disoriented and fell back in the water and unfortunately drowned, or he got out of the water and then was maybe he hit his head and was oh shit, and then stumbled back in or fell back in, or he continued on his path on the other side of the river and ended up dying. But they didn't find any remains. That's why I think he ended up back in the water somehow.
To me, I feel like he stumbled into the water, got out, started walking disoriented, and ended up on someone's property. That's what I feel happened.
Yeah.
Whether or not that person knows if he ended up on their property or not, I don't know.
Yeah. And you have all the animals that would, the birds, coyotes, that kind of thing, that nature. So there's those avenues, and if people don't know, but that one also makes sense as well.
Or what if he fell into the water, got out, started walking? It shows that he went to that gravel road. What if someone hit him or something happened?
Yeah. Where
he died, and the person just threw his body into the Mud Creek.
Yeah. Very possible.
There's so many.
Yeah.
Either way, I do believe he fell into the river
Mhm.
and got out, and then something happened after that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the remains that they're finding in Mud Creek, are they even his remains?
Yeah.
Could it be someone else that was killed or murdered and someone threw their remains in there?
Yeah.
There's just so many,
Mm-hmm.
so many questions, so
Yeah.
many unanswered, and that's why I picked this case.
Yeah. It's infuriating, honestly, because
Yeah.
there's so many possibilities, and if action would have been taken place right away, there could have been a different outcome.
Yeah.
As far as finding out what truly happened.
Yeah. Well, and just the fact that he was like 100% sure he knew where he was.
Yeah, that's
so bizarre to me. When someone goes missing, the most crucial time is the first 48 to 72 hours. If someone you love goes missing, begin by doing these 4 things. 1, file a missing persons report. If they fucking allow you. Fucking pissed me off. 2, gather general information of the person. A clear description of the person with what they were last seen in, a recent photo or video of them, and any phone numbers they may have. 3, gather additional evidence. Any electronic devices that they have, so computers, phones, iPads, anything that they may have. A DNA sample, like a hairbrush or a toothbrush, and medical and dental records. And lastly, number 4, stay in touch with local investigators and keep them updated with new information. I hope none of you out there have to use this, but if you do, I mentioned it. Because honestly, I don't even know where to begin if someone I loved. I mean, obviously call 911, but...
Yeah.
Again, if you know anything or someone you knows anything about Brandon's case, you can call the number 877-966-6222.
Our hearts go out to the victims in this case and all individuals that were affected. With that is all we have for today. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions or comments, you can find us on Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram at Girls Gone Curious Podcast. Until next time.